Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter, and today is a 6-month painting yearly mid-year check-in. I used to do these all the time and I figured I'd bring it back because it's been a little while since I've updated or made some videos on this channel, and this is a great way to just talk about all of the pieces that I've made this year. And so actually, that's not a lot of pieces as far as canvas paintings have been. Acrylic painting was always my first love, and I'm actually surprised that I haven't made as many paintings as in my head I've thought I've made. I currently have 3 paintings in progress. This painting behind me, this painting is what I am currently worked on. It's almost finished. I have some updates to do. I think I want to kind of distance the background by kind of separating the color out a little bit. I think I'm going to add some more sky tones, some more blues. There's like a loose kind of glaze over it, but I think I'm going to deepen that a little bit just to give the background and the foreground a little more separation. It's currently called Morning Mimosas. It was inspired by this photo, which I found on TikTok, and with the permission of that user, I went ahead and gave her image a little bit of my own creative flair and added a kind of Paris backdrop to it, and we have this, which is in progress, but this is not a finished piece. In fact, I only have 5 finished pieces so far this year, which again I say is kind of crazy to me because in my head I've been painting so much, but I've actually been spending a lot of my time making digital art, and so much so that I've been actively painting, but it's just been in a different format. So in my head, I've made all of these pieces, but in actuality, these pieces have been in completely different forms. I made so many pieces, 7 for Mermaid. I've been working in my sketchbook and doing like creative prompts and creative sketches and that sort of thing. And basically, I've been the most productive I've been in years, especially after my absent year, my lost year, where I didn't paint anything for all of 2019. This has been my most creative year since then. It's just that with the new medium, I'm not making as many paintings as I used to. In fact, even the paintings I am working on, I'm spending weeks on. That's a good thing because I am not giving up on pieces like I normally would. Sometimes I would get frustrated and not spend the amount of time getting it perfect in my head that it needed to. I learned to just trust the process and wait and get there. When I did this piece right here, which took me 10 weeks to finish, and that trend of long times on paintings is kind of following through. The majority of these paintings have taken at least a month, if not more. And that's time I'm counting for sketching out the idea, prepping the canvases, but also the time it sits on my easel untouched. Because I do work a full-time job, and there are times when I am in a creative low and I'm stopping myself from working on these paintings because I don't want that low to affect the piece. This work in progress right here, I started I think in February or March maybe, and then it sat untouched for 3 months maybe before I started working on it again this July. But this video is not about current works in progresses. It is about paintings that I've done this year, and we're going to start off with the first painting of 2021. I think the painting's done. There we go. Thoughts, people? Desperado. What do you think? So that is this painting right here. This is the first thing I painted on in 2021. It is a time-lapse video on my channel, so I'll link it if you'd like to check it out. But this is it. I love this piece. I love this piece so much because it has a real feeling towards it. It's also very abstract in that we have this texture here and the nails. I especially love them because it gives it a focal point. And this is a piece where I repainted the face multiple times until I got it just right. And and I'm happy that I stuck with it, because it could have just been sloppy and it could have been disproportionate, and sometimes being disproportionate is a style within itself. But no, I really wanted this to move somewhere. I really wanted this to do something, and so this was my first piece of 2021. The next thing I painted was a piece that technically, from the very original sketch, there was someone who saw the sketch and immediately wanted it. But once I finished it, I could not part with it. I could not sell it. I could not give it away. So maybe one day I'll make a print of it. Maybe. But in the meantime, I'm keeping this baby. It's called Manifesting. And it is this piece right here. I love the concept that came out with this, and this also has a time-lapse video, so yes, it'll be linked. But this painting was a lot of things accumulating for me. It was one, kind of embracing this new style I had. Before, all of my artwork kind of related in some way to nature, and it related some way into like isolation, and there were strong themes of aloneness and separation and kind of contemplation and thoughtfulness, which is fine. It's a great theme to explore. But by the end of 2019, I knew that the reason why I wasn't painting was because I didn't want to explore that theme anymore. And so when I did this piece right here, which is called Stolen Songbird, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but I worked on this piece for 10 weeks, and a lot of my hiccup was that I was still trying to play with this theme of isolation when my heart wasn't there. So now we have this new piece with these new themes, and the new themes are one, kind of empowerment, and more figurative. I am really focusing on the character now and not so much the scene. There's still some contemplation there. I'm always going to want to play with emotions, but there is more a captured moment that I'm seeking here, but the moment of the individual, the figure, and not the moment of like the area and the world and that moment. So and I think I'm painting more independence, and a lot of the characters I'm painting, a lot of these women have that kind of independence that I'm now displaying, that I now have ownership of, and that is also something I am painting, ownership in these women. And it's only 5 pieces, so I have explored it, but not to its fullest. And I can't wait. Later this summer, I'm going to be working on a big series of paintings that have to do with orchestra and the limelight, and specifically the story of a soloist opera singer and how that goes. And so I really, really want to keep those themes of ownership and independence and reflection and really kind of joy with those themes of isolation and everything else that I've always explored. So we have that. So yeah, I just got right off of work. I just needed to paint to just kind of relax, and in my relaxation I did this, which does not look so calming. That's exactly where I want to be right now. Do you like it? This next piece was the quickest piece I worked on. All of these other pieces took months and months, but this one took about 2 hours, and it was kind of more a study for a kind of short form series than anything else, because I have a painting that is really much about the fall. It's a fall scene. I painted it last year, and it was just something to hang and be decorative in my own apartment. I really wanted to paint something that was fall focused so I can hang it on the wall instead of me buying like fall decorations, right? And so to continue that theme, I really wanted to have a summer and spring version. This is the summer version, and while it didn't take me a long time to do, it was just kind of a fun experiment. It showed that I really still had this sense of painting landscapes, to not only capture just these like specific moments, but to capture a feeling in a scene. I wanted to capture summer. And so this was a great way to do it. I also wanted to play around with colors and take something not so serious. So while this doesn't kind of match my work in general right now, it is something that played with colors. It was very relaxing to do, and sometimes you need these kind of offshore pieces just to get the idea out and have the fun with the concept, because you don't know, it may come back later and I may just want to do ocean pieces. I may just want to do different kind of perspectives and concepts. And this was one that I really enjoyed because specifically of the buoys. Every time I go out to the water, the buoys always catch my eye, because there's something about understanding where the depth of an ocean is for someone who's afraid to swim, who doesn't like getting her hair wet, who doesn't like being alone and like scared in the ocean. Like, these buoys have like this theme of safety, and so I've really thought about a theme about it, which is maybe taking this piece further than it needed to go, but you know, that's the honest truth about it. Like, I really think about these, about later concepts I can get out of it. But anyway, if you see buoys in the future, you know why. And then these last two pieces that I have right here are pieces that kind of went hand in hand. In the middle of working on this piece, which took 4 months to finish and looked completely different multiple times throughout its process, I painted this in a day. And this is actually painted over a piece that was originally painted in 2019, right before I took the year off. And I painted this angry self-portrait. And I never liked that piece because I painted it in anger. And I never liked that piece because it didn't actually match me at all. I couldn't find a theme there. I couldn't find anything. I just kind of wasted the canvas in my mind. And I know that there's something to be said about abstracted work. I know there is a lot to be found in, like, I don't know, painting in anger. I'm sure there's lessons learned there, but I always hated the piece. So I painted over it and I did this. And this is a girl who was still a little independent, and I like to play with the glow. And I learned something from this piece specifically. It's unnamed, but I really learned that my style is just kind of my style. I kept painting areas and wanting it to look different, but I realized what I was wanting it to look like is as if I wasn't the one painting it. One of my favorite things about other artists' work is that you can look at the piece, every piece that they do, and you can see something similar, and you can see something nice, and you can see why it's their piece, you know? And so my work has that same signature. It still has that same blending style. It still has that kind of same color choices and artistic choices throughout it that makes it recognizable for me. So I learned a lesson. That's always good to know. I worked on this tonight. There she goes, and she can finally join all of her siblings. Dun, dun, dun. I just love how they all fit and look like the same person painted them, and they all look like they were meant to be together. But yeah, here's a new piece. And then we have this last piece, which I originally started off with this sketch here, and me and my twin sister, she helped me think of a direction because I got stalled very quickly. I knew I wanted to play with light and shadows. The vines, they came later, but I knew I wanted a fan, and I specifically wanted a seating picture, but then after that I was kind of lost. And so she helped me pick a direction, and once I had a direction, I painted. And I painted, and I painted again. For 4 months I worked on this piece, and it was at a point one time where even though it wasn't finished, it was lovely. I loved it. I wanted it. And it looked so sketchy though. It was this part right here. It looked so sketchy and like it was unfinished, but it was finished in my head. But it didn't look like this. So I kept painting. And eventually I got here, and I still like this. but I will be experimenting hopefully very soon with kind of unfinishedness in my style for my work, because I feel like this is just as powerful as this. But talking about this piece, which is the last thing I finished painting so far in the first 6 months of 2021. Look at it. 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 I first of all really love the lighting that I did get with this piece. That was my most important thing. I wanted to play with contrast. I wanted to have lights and shadows, lights and shadows, lights and shadows. And partway through the process, I got stuck and I had the inspiration from my sister. She specifically told me to go very Beatrix, Bellatrix from Harry Potter, go very wild, crazy with her hair, and then just kind of focus on the form. And I always suck with form. So it was a real challenge for me. But even though it got to that spot where I liked it and then I painted past it, I really like this piece too. Hey guys, so I finally finished this painting last night and I want to show it off. Look at her, she's finished, she's covered in vines, she's enjoying the light, she has her fan, and she's great. And so those are 5 canvas pieces that I painted in the last 6 months, from January until June of 2021. And so 6 months has been great here on YouTube. I have gotten to 200 subscribers here after 5 years. I've been on this platform for 5 years, which is crazy for me. And so the only thing that I can say for the past 6 months is that I've been relearning to trust my art process and to take the time I need to take on a piece. I used to bump out so many paintings, and now I look back at them and I'm not so happy with them, especially a lot of my earlier work. Even though I can see the beginning of a development of a style, it doesn't feel like me now, years later. Where there are some pieces that feel like me 100%, and I appreciate that. I also learned in the last 6 months that I enjoy experimenting and switching it up. I've been doing fan art. I did this piece right here. I have been working in my sketchbook. I have also really enjoyed making short form content. Anyway, I am back to making videos. I am back to making content, and I will be back very soon with another video. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Marnise Nicole. If you have something particularly you want to see, definitely let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I am out. Bye.